Must just be a coincidence that Nevada State Athletic Commission said they're going to stop punishing people for testing positive for marijuana. Yeah. Must have just fallen on the same day, but who knows? What's up, Barnhill family? Welcome back to the channel.
Yeah.
So, Nick, in surprising MMA news, it looks like Mr. Nick Diaz is going to return to the Octagon. Must just be a coincidence that Nevada State Athletic Commission said they're going to stop punishing people for testing positive for marijuana. Yeah. Must have just fallen on the same day, but who knows? But the funny thing is, Jorge Masvidal came out a couple of days ago and said, I'm looking to return towards the end of the year, end of 2021, and my opponent is either going to be Nick Diaz or Colby Covington. Yeah. And per Ariel Helwani's reporting on this Diaz versus Lawler deal is about 90 to 95% done. So it looks like Diaz is off the table, and that kind of makes me wonder what's really going on at 170, because what we all thought, what Dana said was that we were going to have Covington versus Usman is the next title fight, but that's yet to be announced. And then if it's not Covington, you would think it would be Leon, because Leon just had that great win, but that hasn't been announced. And that just kind of keeps me circling back to, I believe the UFC is waiting to see what happens with Wonderboy here, because they haven't announced a big fight. It seems like there's two opponents that both have a case and both make sense, yet the fight's not been announced, and Wonderboy happens to be the co-main event this weekend.
Yeah, I think there's some truth to that. I'm kind of on the belief system that Colby Covington is going to get the next shot at Usman, even though Usman's not really too into that one. I just think that that's a mega fight that needs to happen this year. It needs to happen for a title. Not that I think Usman's going to lose the title anytime soon, but I just feel like that's the fight to make for the fans. I'm a fan of that division. I like both fighters. I think that it's the right move, but I could see them going in a different direction. And Wonderboy Thompson, he made a great case for himself by saying, look, I'm the only guy in the top 5 that hasn't gotten a crack at Kamaru Usman. So with the dominant win over Gilbert Burns, which I plan on having Saturday night, I'd like to, get my title shot. And I don't think anybody, thinks that Wonderboy doesn't deserve that, or would be like, no, kick rocks, go beat Chimaev or go beat Leon Edwards or somebody like that before you get any a title shot, because he's already beating all of the best guys. There's really nobody else in front of him to face that doesn't already have a dance partner. So I can see Wonderboy potentially sliding in, but it would kind of stink if Wonderboy didn't get to do that, because if he didn't get to do that, he would likely have to wait quite some time to get the title shot, and he would have to just kind of be sitting there for roughly 6 months after this fight, just waiting for his shot at a title. They might make him do a little bit of heavy lifting in that meanwhile, and he's a company guy, so I think he'd probably do it, but it's really risky at the top of 170. He's only got tough fights from here on out. And then, when you watch the other few top contenders like Leon Edwards and, I hate to admit it, but like Khamzat Chimaev, these guys are all a couple of impressive wins away from jumping the line and being next. So I think there's a little bit of a logjam as far as contenders go at 170, but in my opinion, Usman versus Colby Covington will likely happen next.
Yeah, and going back to the fight that's all but announced, Diaz versus Lawler, there's a lot of things that are unexpected that have happened at 170 or that could happen at 170. This kind of tops my list. Yeah. I kind of was a little bit bearish on Nick Diaz actually returning this year. Yeah. Dana came out and said that it's looking likely. Then he came back out and said it's actually looking unlikely. Mm-hmm. And now all of a sudden we've got basically what amounts to a fight announcement, and the opponent's Robby Lawler. Yeah. And just to put some context behind this is a rematch, by the way. Yeah. These two fought in 2004. Yeah. Nick Diaz won the fight via KO in the second round. But there's people in the UFC today, Chase Hooper comes to mind, Macy Barber, who were likely in diapers when these guys fought the first time. This is really kind of incredible. And I think both of them being in their late 30s now, both of these guys are warriors. I do expect this to be a good fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Nick Diaz and Nate, for that matter, they both throw mixed signals at us all day long. They're just, when we do hear about them, it's vague, it's indirect, it's not really a direct call out, hey, I want to fight this guy. The rare occasion where Nate Diaz calls out George Masvidal and gets it. That's the type of thing that we would like to see out of them, because they have so much power when they get on a microphone, and they can get the fights that they want, and they know what fights us fight fans want to see them in. So I think that this fight, I guess Nick Diaz has agreed to fight Robby Lawler, which actually makes a lot of sense and kind of is aligned with what he said not too long ago when he was, doing some media, and he was like, I don't want to jump around. He used the word jump around with these young guys. I'd rather fight somebody that's either higher up on the rankings or closer to my age. Robby Lawler's the perfect guy. They're probably similar in age. I would venture to say they're probably within 2 or 3 years of each other.
Don't quote me. I think Nick is 37 and I think Robby's 39. I'm pretty sure on that.
Yeah, so I would assume that would be about right. They're both kind of in that late 30 area, and Robby Lawler is always a tough fight, but I kind of feel like the UFC would love to see Nick Diaz come back and win a fight. That was a non-decision or whatever when he fought Anderson Silva, but it's been years since that, and it was years before that he's actually won a fight. So the UFC can utilize Nick Diaz really well even in the current layout of the 170 division, but he needs to win.
Yeah,
he can't come in and get smoked, and I kind of feel like he'd be the favorite going into this.
I kind of think he's going to win this fight.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, both of these guys have been in some wars,
Right.
And the thing about the Diaz brothers, they don't care about the rankings. They don't care about who holds the belt. The Diaz brothers kind of operate by their own code.
Yep.
Who do they think is a real fighter?
Right.
Who do they think is an OG who's been around forever? Who's winning fights in impressive ways, on the feet, taking a shot to give two back? Those are the kind of people and the kind of fights that the Diaz brothers want.
Right.
So actually, it surprised me when this first got announced, but the more I get to thinking about it, it actually makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I mean, both of these guys are warriors. Nick Diaz and Robby Lawler both come with their own diehard, loyal fan bases, a lot of whom cross over with each other. So it'll be very interesting, because a lot of fans of if you like Robby Lawler for what he does, chances are you probably like Nick Diaz for what he does too, and vice versa. So
there's probably a ton of mutual respect between the two fighters too.
Oh, for sure there. And that kind of makes me start to think that Nate is maybe pining for that Masvidal rematch. If this fight is announced now, that kind of takes Jorge off the table. But yeah, the Diaz's, let's hope this is not a twice-a-decade affair for Nick, which it has been lately. His last fight was in 2015, January, against Anderson Silva.
Yeah.
We're into 2021 now. By the time this fight comes around, we'll be closer to 2022. So that's almost 7 years in between fights. Mm-hmm. And at 37 years old, if we're going to see some more magic and we're going to see some more fun out of Nick and Nate Diaz both, Nick is going to have to be a little bit more active, and Nate's going to have to catch a win here.
Yeah, and this is by all means a mega fight.
Yeah,
and it's going to do really good numbers, and the return of Nick Diaz is very real. But
I think it's a fight night main event, but this could very well be a pay-per-view. I mean, I feel like people would pay for this.
Well,
honestly.
They might have to break history again with the other Diaz brother and do a 5-round non-title fight on a pay-per-view, because that would probably be where it would fit best. But Nick Diaz in this fight, actually, when you start to look at like the X's and O's, he matches up well. Obviously, you said he beat him, but we're talking 15, 16 years ago.
Yeah.
This is two completely different fighters. It will be a different fight. The X's and O's kind of show you that Nick is really good at throwing it with volume. His boxing is really good. Robby Lawler is kind of a striker of old. He's not hitting you with these spinning numbers and
a banger.
Crazy things. He gets hit a good bit. He's just really durable and hits really hard as well. So I don't see this fight spending too much time on the ground. I think it's largely a boxing match held in an octagon under the UFC's banner, and it's going to be a fan favorite. It's probably going to go all 25 minutes, and I think Nick could win these rounds. He could win 3 or 4 rounds.
Yeah, I see that happening. And I think Robbie's got the advantage on getting the takedown. Obviously, he's the stronger wrestler. But Nick has got some crazy jiu-jitsu. Nick and Nate both are very good at jiu-jitsu. But I personally put Nick a little bit above Nate in jiu-jitsu and quite frankly in all aspects of MMA for that matter. I think that Nick is truly the better fighter of the two, and I think the record and the fact that he's fought for a title twice would kind of reference that. So I think that if Robby were to take Nick down, he might be at a disadvantage there. So I think that's unlikely. So as you said, I think we will see this fight largely happen on the feet, and I think Nick is a bit more precise. He's a very good boxer. As Andre Ward said, he has sparred rounds with Nick and Nate Diaz, and if you don't know who Andre Ward is, undefeated light heavyweight boxer, incredible boxer, retired now, but said that the Diaz brothers are legit as it gets. Their boxing is very good. Robby's coming straight forward.
Right.
This has got fight of the night. This might need $100,000 bonus apiece at the end of it.
Yeah, and lucky for Nick Diaz, Robby doesn't throw a whole lot of leg kicks, so I don't see there being much damage being done under the belt line. And it would be an amazing fight. I really hope that they confirm it and give us a date to look forward to, because it'll be really fun to see these two guys bang it out in the Octagon.
Two OG warriors.
Yeah. 2021 is just crazy. The year of up and comers, the year of longtime vets and legends of the sport, but everybody's still getting their punches in.
It's the year of the fights that we didn't expect, but now we have to have.
That's right.
Well, guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Hopefully by the time it comes out, the 90 to 95% assurity will have turned into 100% and this fight will have been announced. Nick and I are looking super forward to this. Let us know in the comments who wins this fight, and are you charged up for the return of Nick Diaz? As always, guys, we appreciate you watching our content. If you've enjoyed, please like, comment, and subscribe, and check us out on audio where you listen to podcasts. Until the next one, have a wonderful day.
Peace.